मैं तो रोज पढ़ता हूँ नियम को डेली।
Sir, thank you very much, Speaker, sir. And I thank every member of the House who has spoken and taken interest in the budget which has been presented here. Let me at the outset thank the people of this country for giving this government, headed by Shri Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, a historic third consecutive term in office. It actually reaffirms the faith the people have and the commitment with which Honorable Prime Minister is leading the country, and therefore building stability and coming up with people-centric policies. We shall all work together to build a Vikasit Bharat by the year 2047. I am extremely humbled by the trust faith. I am extremely humbled by the trust vested in me by Honorable Prime Minister, and it encourages me to work even harder to attain government's vision of Vikasit Bharat. I would like to thank all the members for having participated in this robust debate, and I'm trying here to address almost all the issues raised by the honorable members, and I shall go by issue, which would cover many members under each issue, but I'll try to name as many of them as possible. So just before I do the part where I'm responding to the honorable members, I would like to highlight some of the budgetary points, features, which is very important for us to understand where this budget fits in itself in the long path towards Vikasit Bharat. Sir, this budget actually draws upon what was mentioned in the vote on account. So essentially infuses into itself everything, almost everything said in the vote on account. And after that, of course, brings a newer addition towards making this year the first step towards the next 5 years leading towards Vikasit Bharat. So the continuity from the vote on account is something that I'd like to underline. The principle of governance has from 2014 been Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, and Sabka Prayas. And following that, we shall come forward and work together to make sure we overcome all the difficulties. The budget actually seeks to consolidate all the earlier accomplishments. It also outlines measures in order that we overcome the challenges, and two core elements have been highlighted. One is the social inclusivity, that is reaching out to all strata of the people in the society, and geographical inclusivity through equitable development for all the regions in our country. So we are taking a whole of nation approach and now seeking to make sure that we fulfill the aspirations of our people. So briefly, if I were to summarize on points which are meeting this objective that we have set before ourselves, is the expenditure of the government has actually grown exponentially. It is today 48.21 lakh crores. It is projected to grow by about 7.3% over 23-24 and 8.5% over pre-actuals of 23-24. We call it pre-actuals, although with the final figures are almost there, because it has to be certified and audited, we give the nomenclature pre-actuals. But they are close, actually close to the real REs. Within the total expenditure, sir, one feature which has marked India's growth story post the COVID, it is the capital expenditure which the public money with which we are building assets, meaning government's own expenditure to build assets, to build capital expenses, are the ones, capital expenditure is the one which has actually enabled us to come out of COVID, whilst many other countries in the world are doing very many different things. But yet, this one tested formula of, depending on the multiplier which comes out of spending on public expenditure, spending on capital expenditure through public money, has actually yielded us such results that post-COVID, consistently we've maintained high growth rate, and we are the fastest growing in the world as a result of this very clear government's approach. And in that total expenditure of 48.21 lakh, 11.11 lakh go for capital expenditure. Sir, budgeted capital expenditure is now almost 3.3 times the capital expenditure which was there in 2019-20, that is prior to COVID, sir. If you actually calculate the effective capital expenditure, that is the sum which is referred to when the budgeted capital outlay and the grants and aid for creation of capital assets which is given to the states, grants and aid go to the state's capital account, but it remains in the revenue account for us. But because it also creates capital in the state's name, if we were to calculate the effective capital expenditure, it is pegged at 15.02 lakh or above 18% over the RE of 23-24. So that is the impetus we are giving for growth to be sustainable and for us to retain the growth rate that we have been very clearly attributing for the hard work of the people of this country. I'm not getting into the details of the revenue expenditure because that is already in the budget documents. But more importantly, I get into talking about the allocations because I think a lot of members have said probably the allocations in the social sector has come down. I want to, by giving the data, I want to showcase to the ministers, to the honorable members, that the expenditure on the contrary has gone up in each one of them, and I'll show by how many. So agriculture and allied sector in 2013 and 14 had just 30 lakh crores, meaning 0.30 lakh crores, whereas now it is 1.52 lakh crores. It is even 8,000 crores more than the last year, which is 23-24. So even over last year, we have made an increase and not brought a reduction in them. So education and employment and skilling is the next one, sir, in which 0.85 lakh crore is what was allotted for education, employment and skilling in 2013-14, whereas today it is 1.48 lakh crores, which is 23% more allocation even over the last year, 28,000 crores more than last year, which is 23% more allocation compared to even last year. In 10 years, 0.85 lakh crore to 1.48 lakh crores. Women and girls, 0.96 lakh crore in 13-14, it is 3.27 lakh crores. 41% more allocation or 96,000 crores more than the last year. Rural development, including infrastructure, sir, 0.87 lakh crore, and this year, that is 2013 and 14, whereas this year it is 2.66 lakh crores, which is 11.7% more allocation over the last year, 28,000 crores more than the last year. Urban development was only 0.12 lakh crores in 2013-14, whereas it is close to a lakh crore now, 7,000 crores more than last year. Health and social welfare, sir, 0.72 lakh crores in 2013-14, it is now 1.46 lakh crores, 3,000 crores more than the last year itself. So nowhere has the budget given lesser allocation than the previous year. So I would want to appeal to honorable members to please have a look at the document in full and see that no allocation has been reduced. So just briefly, what the budget 2024-25 tries to bring in is a balance among several objectives, because growth is important, and through better growth, higher growth, we believe that inequality can be addressed. So growth, employment, welfare spending, capital investments and fiscal consolidation. These are the factors which we've tried balancing in the budget. So, an indicator which is very important for us. If I'm insisting on doing public spending on capital expenditure, the quality of public spending is the revenue deficit to fiscal deficit ratio normally. From about 80% in 2020-2021 COVID year, on account of COVID pandemic, the revenue deficit to fiscal deficit ratio, sir, was expected to fall to 36% was very high, whereas it is now fallen to, it is expected to fall to 36% in 24-25, and therefore reflecting the fact that expenditure is going towards quality asset creation. No one can refute this data, sir. These are all available in public domain. And